You are already your child's curriculum. And it's not because you know the most, but because you are the first person teaching them how to interpret the world. And this is before the school bell rings, before the classroom opens, before a single lesson is taught. Every morning, millions of parents hand their children over to school and quietly hope they become educated. We have come to believe that education begins when the school day starts. The most important part of your child's education happens before they leave the house. Now, I want you to consider two children. Both come home from school and say, "Someone made fun of my name." One parent says, "Maybe we should change it. It's hard for people to pronounce." That child learns shame. The other parent says, "Your name was given to you by your grandmother. It tells the story of your people." They mock it because they don't know that story. That's their loss, not yours. That child learns context. Same classroom, same school, same curriculum, but completely different interpretations of reality. The first child learns to adapt to the world. The second child learns to read it critically. Neither parent taught a subject. Both parents taught something far more powerful. They taught their children how to read the world. This is what education at its deepest level has always been about. Not information, not formation. So much energy goes into worrying about the curriculum. Which school, which syllabus, which system? That is the wrong question. The question is not, is my child getting a good education? The curriculum that shapes a child's soul is not in a textbook. It's in the way we speak to them when we are tired. It's in the way you treat someone who can't repay you. It's in the way you talk about yourself, about your people, about your future. Our children are watching, not just our words, not just our lessons, our life. Across many African societies, education was not separate from everyday life. The parent was part of the living archive, the moral compass, the bridge between the child and the ancestors. Then colonialism arrived, and it did not just change what was taught, it changed who could teach. The missionary school placed the foreign teacher at the center of knowledge. The parent, with their stories, their knowledge, their wisdom, was pushed to the edge. Again and again, colonial education positions European knowledge as modern and African knowledge as backward. And over generations, the hierarchy became something many African families began to internalize. They began to believe that real education happened somewhere, behind a school gate, inside a foreigner's book, administered by strangers with certificates. This is the shift that has not yet been undone. It is the reason so many African children grow up knowing more about European history than their own, feeling more connected to foreign celebrities than their own elders, measuring success by how far they can escape their origins. Here is where Sankofa gives us another way of thinking about it. The Akan have a word for this kind of remembering: Sankofa. Sankofa is not nostalgia. It's not about going back to live in the past. It's not about rejecting modern knowledge. It's not about romanticizing poverty or hardship. Sankofa is a practical retrieval of what works. Learning could happen through measuring grain, building homes, telling stories, farming, trade, ceremony, and participation in community life. Knowledge was not always separated into subjects. It was embedded in experiences. Parents, elders, were part of the architecture of that experience. The parent was not the only teacher, but the parent was never merely a spectator. This is the role to retrieve, not to live in the past, to reclaim the method, the integration of learning within life, the centrality of relationship, the grounding in identity, and applying it to the world our children actually inhabit. Reclaiming this role does not mean you become your full-time teacher. It doesn't mean you reject formal schooling. It means shifting your attention. It means recognizing the moment you already share our education. The dining table conversation is a lesson in communication. The way you handle a difficult neighbor is a lesson in conflict resolution. The way you speak about your work is a lesson in purpose. The way you respond to bad news is a lesson in resilience. The way you treat someone who cannot repay you is a lesson in ethics. These are things you're teaching every single day. The only question is whether you notice. If your child goes to school, then when schools open, they will leave you. They'll spend maybe 7 hours with a teacher, but before they do, they will spend time with you. They will watch how you react when you're running late. They will notice how you speak to the person serving tea. They will hear how you talk about yourself. Long before maths, science, education has already started. So, the question was never, is my child getting a good education?